it's fitting. I've started the women's ice hockey question, so I'll be reporter. Volleyball question, I'll be reporter
That is
too.
how they design it, yeah.
What creates offense?
Defense.
What creates defense?
Offense.
No, the goalie in the back of the net.
So you're crazy. I like you, but you're crazy because
At least if you're going to pick a trap game, pick the right ones.
Little fast footwork. I know your feet don't move that fast.
Brady, that's all flash, no pass. She didn't net it in the back of the net. That's not even a
What are you
goal.
doing coming out, Ryan?
Brady,
Are you ready for some debate? This Bobcat Breakdown starts right now.
Hello, and welcome into Studio 125 for another episode of Bobcat Breakdown. I'm your host, Meg Buckley, alongside Ava Heaton and Seb Lobes. We've got an exciting show on deck for tonight, so how are you guys feeling?
I'm feeling great, and I'm ready for a great debate.
I mean, hockey's my thing, so I'm ready to go.
Great. Starting on the hardwood, the women's basketball team was down in Atlantic City for the MAC tournament. They took down Iona in the quarterfinals and then Merrimack in the semis before falling to Fairfield in the championship 76-53. Their performance in Atlantic City, who do you think they deserved an at-large bid for the NCAA tournament? Ava, start us off.
Short answer, absolutely. I mean, you look at this team, they were a threat all season, finished with a 28-4 overall record, and I mean, you got to focus on Gal Revive. Not only did she win MAC Rookie of the Year, but she won MAC Player of the Year on top of that. First time that's happened in conference history. I mean, if you need you need more reasoning, Fairfield head coach Carly Thibault-Dudanis even said they should make it. When asked what she would say to the selection committee about Quinnipiac and like why they should make it, she just said watch them. And I think that that's a real testament to how good this team has been all season.
Yeah, I mean, Fairfield was their biggest test, and they fell short. But when the Fairfield head coach comes out and says, watch the team if they made the tournament and that they should make it, it's an obvious answer that, yes, they should have made the tournament. And we have to go to the first four teams that shouldn't be in. Columbia is in there, and they lost to Harvard in the Ivy League tournament and still are an 11 seed somehow, just because they won the regular season conference. But guess what? Quinnipiac smoked that team by a score of 76-53. All right, and another team that Quinnipiac beat was Princeton, another team that should have really given Quinnipiac reason to make that tournament, as well as beating Vermont decisively. They beat Vermont in their own house, all the way in Vermont, and that's just a team that made the tournament. I believe they're around a 15 seed in the tournament. So there are teams that Quinnipiac beat that just justify why they should be in that tournament.
Yeah, I think it's really crucial to look at the teams that they beat. Like you said, they blew out Harvard. And I just think that that's really a testament to just how good this team has been. And, I mean, they're one of the best women's basketball teams the school has seen in a while.
Oh, absolutely.
Great. The men's basketball team was also in Atlantic City, getting knocked out by Iona in the semifinals 81-73, causing them to slip out of an NCAA tournament spot. Now that their season has come to a close, who will step up and lead the team next season? Seb, what do you have?
Well, the obvious answer is Amari Monroe, but we don't know if he will be here or not next year. Going and banking off of the fact that he will be here next year, if that does happen, he was the MAC preseason player of the year, goes on to win player of the year, and he just shined for the Bobcats. He was the one person on that team that you could really count on consistently. So if he comes back, he is the obvious answer. But if he doesn't come back, you have to look to Jaden Zimmerman, a first year that found his footing this year and is starting to make a difference on this team. He came up with huge three-pointers in crucial moments of games, and he wound up averaging a 45.1% field goal percentage, 34.7% three-pointer percentage, which was second on the team. So he is a phenomenal shooter and arguably, in my opinion, probably the best on the team when it comes to shooting alone.
I hear you're Jaden Zimmerman, and I raise you Latif Patrick. You might not know the name yet, but you're going to be hearing a lot of it next year. He's coming out of JUCO from the Trinidad State Trojans, and this kid is good. Shot 36.3% from three-point distance, which I think is such a crucial thing to keep note of because that's an area where the Bobcats struggled. They shot just 29.6%. Tom Pecora has said he's a competitive kid who can score and facilitate at a high level, and he should flourish in their system. Recently, he just had 33 points in a regional championship game to send the Trojans to a JUCO national tournament. He's clutch, clearly, and the Bobcats seem to need that. And I think that this kid just has a lot of highs. He averages 23.8 points per game, and his season high, 37 points. And he had 8 made threes in that game. And I just think that's very, very telling because, again, those are two areas where the Bobcats struggle. 3-point line and just coming up clutch.
I think going back to Zimmerman, a big reason to look at it is that game against Merrimack on the road where so much attention was on Amari Monroe versus Bud Clark, but Zimmerman was the top dog for the Bobcats, wound up having 22 points while Monroe had 6. So he just showed that he could really be a force for this team.
It is now time for our first commercial break of the night. But when we come back, Q30's Eli Ehlers sits down with Quinnipiac men's ice hockey goaltender Noah Altman for an exclusive live interview. You won't want to miss it.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Everyone has a ritual. That small thing we do to keep us focused.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game?
To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health.
Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Find the resources you need to keep your mental health a priority.
Love your mind.
Here at Sports Pause, we like to have balance between having fun and working hard. Sometimes that competition we cover gets into our producing.
Tune in every Monday night at 9:30 at q30tv.com/watch for all the news, highlights, and more. This is Sports Pause.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. I'm Eli Ehlers here live for an exclusive interview with Quinnipiac goaltender Noah Altman, presented by QBSN. Noah, how are we doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Well, let's get right into it. A little bit on the personal side. You didn't start playing hockey until you were 13. Can you talk about the recruitment journey for you?
Yeah, so I didn't learn how to skate till I was 13. I think I started playing hockey, right around 13, 14. And obviously, college hockey was a long way away from me at that point. So I played a couple years of low-level hockey in California, where I'm from. And then I sort of started to get a little bit better and better. And my size helped me. I was coordinated from playing other sports. And once I got to junior hockey, D1 sort of became a reality for me, and that was really exciting. And then over COVID, like for a lot of people, it kind of threw off my whole journey within juniors. So I ended up looking at a lot of D3 schools, which would have been great as well.
Yeah.
And I got a call one day from Joe Dumais. Who's our assistant coach, but I had actually enrolled at the University of Michigan to be a regular student.
Okay.
I sort of decided I'd put so much into hockey. Not that playing D3 sports is bad by any means, but at that point in my life, I sort of wanted to get a really good education at Michigan and sort of go that route. And then Joe Dumais called me, and I didn't answer the phone. I didn't know who it was, or I didn't have my phone at the time. And then I got the voicemail, and I was like, oh my God. I think I was on a plane to Hamden like 12 hours later, and I committed on the spot. So my only Division I offer, and it's been the best thing of all time. Exactly.
One's all you need.
Exactly.
All right, well, looking at the team side of it, went 0-2 opening weekend in ECAC play. After that, Coach Pecknold said the buy-in wasn't there. At Christmas break, he said it was intermittent. As a leader on the team, where is it right now?
I think it's definitely the best it's been all season. You never like to make excuses, but I want to give our team a little bit of grace. We have so many new players. I think about myself when I came in. I think we had, 13 seniors or fifth years on our team, which is outrageous. I think it was 8 seniors and 5 fifth years, which is unheard of. And this year we have a good amount of older players, but like I'm the only guy who's played here for 4 years, and I'm not even playing all the games. So it was definitely hard for guys to sort of adjust. College hockey is really hard. Our league sometimes gets a bad rap, but it's really good. And so we sort of built and we built and we built, and we had a bit of a down year, and we won the Cleary Cup for the 5th year in a row. So that sort of shows where our program is at. And I think we're in a really good mindset going into this weekend in Lake Placid.
Talking about the mindset in Lake Placid, you mentioned after senior night, there's not going to be the talk about the history with Lake Placid. How, as a leader, did you help the team get ready this week?
I think it's just a lot of the same things. We've been on a really good run. We know what's at stake. Cornell, I think in a way, obviously they're a really, really good team. That's who we've got first. I think in a way it's good for us. We will always get up for a game against Cornell. Like, there's no question about that. Keeping guys sort of level-headed, going into Lake Placid, like, they're going to see a lot of guys haven't been there before. It's a really cool town. March Madness is going on. People are going to want to watch basketball, but it's a business trip. Coach Pecknold says that all the time. We might not have had success there in the past, but who cares? It's a different team. Like, none of those guys were there, or very few have been there more than one time, if at all. So I think we're in a really, really good spot.
Before we move on to the next question, do you guys have a team bracket challenge going?
We do have a team bracket challenge. I may or may not be the commissioner of that bracket challenge.
Okay. Who do you have winning?
My heart would have said Quinnipiac,
Okay.
unfortunately. No, but
Yeah.
it's a sore subject. My other part of my heart wants to say Michigan.
Okay.
They're pretty good this year,
They
actually,
are,
a little
yes.
under the radar.
Yes.
But I think as of right now, I kind of have a feeling about Houston.
Okay. All right.
But we'll see.
It's not a 1 seed, but you never know.
No, I think they are.
Are they the 1 seed?
I think they're a 1
They
seed.
are a 1 seed. Okay,
Yeah,
we'll go
maybe.
with that. I'll trust you on that.
Yeah.
Switching it back to the hockey side of it, Matej Marinov, you've played with a lot of good goalies. This weekend, 54 saves on 55 shots. What makes him so special?
I think goalies sometimes get a bad rap for being weird or just awkward, and that's true a lot of the time, but I like to think of myself as sort of the opposite of that, and Matej is as well. He's so calm, like his demeanor in the net, he always comes and talks to me during the whistles, and he's just sort of calm. He's like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I sort of give him like a nice calming voice back, and he's just out there playing. I think one thing that's actually interesting is this past weekend was the first time in his college career he played 2 games in a row in terms of back-to-back days. Obviously, he was pretty good in both those games. He's really mentally strong, and he's just a really good athlete. So he's been a good goalie in the USHL. He's been a good goalie back home in Slovakia. We have a lot of confidence in him going into this weekend as well.
What is one thing you think the team has improved most on from the beginning of the season to now?
Like, we use that term buy-in. It's sort of hard for people to maybe comprehend exactly what that means, but I think that sort of is the answer. Understanding what it takes to win. When they see our logo, we won the national championship less than 2 years ago. Everybody wants to beat us, so knowing that it doesn't matter who you're playing. We learned last year, we played St. Lawrence.
Yeah.
They were ranked way, way lower than us. We were like a top 5 or 6 seed in the country, and they were in like the 40s. They dominated us because they were playing for their lives. That was the end of their season. So I think just having that mentality, like every single game is going to be a war, but if we do what we're supposed to do, what we're capable of doing, then we'll be who we should be.
Do you think this year's team could have beaten last year's Quinnipiac team?
I mean, any team can beat any team on any given day. Losing the top line from last year with Graf, Lipkin, and Quillen, 2 of them have played in the NHL, and hopefully Lipkin's not far behind. That's tough. Yeah. And some leadership like Jaden Lee, CJ McGee, Tellier, Filion, those guys are leaders. But up front this year, like, we have a lot of talent. Like, our freshmen are really good. It's cool kind of to see. This is the first year where freshmen have played like a huge role on our team. Last year, a little with Sorbonne and Marcellus and some other guys, but I think it would be a really, really good game. Maybe a 7-game series. We'll put it at that.
Before we get to going to the rest of the show, what has been your favorite personal memory within hockey?
Outside of winning the national championship, of course. I would say my sophomore year, so actually the same year, we went to Belfast, Northern Ireland, and Dublin, Ireland. Just sort of getting to travel the world with your best friends. We had a lot of free time. Like, we're pretty structured when we're here, which is strange. We go overseas and we had a lot of free time. I don't think we had like any team dinners. We sort of were on our own to go do our thing. So to be in a foreign country, get to experience new cultures, and then we ended up winning the tournament in a shootout, which was really exciting. We had a great fun night after that, and I'd say that was probably my favorite memory.
Favorite meal that you had on the trip?
So there was this Christmas market outside. We were there right around or on Thanksgiving, but they had started, I mean, they don't celebrate Thanksgiving obviously there, but they had started this outdoor Christmas market, and it's not really a full meal, but they had like a waffle cone, and they filled, so it's 2 parts. So it was a waffle cone with like fried chicken in it, so chicken and waffles with like a little spin on that, and then a bubble cone which is a little bit different with ice cream. So there were multiple times where we'd go and
you got the
one
full
guy
meal.
would get one thing and the other would get the other, and we'd split it. But yeah, that was pretty good.
Predictions for this weekend. What do you see out of your team?
We've talked about it this whole week, being really, really good in the first 5 or 10 minutes against Cornell. We do that, we get to our game. I think we'll have a really, really good chance to win that game. And then whoever we play in the finals, you got to reload, and it's 24 hours later. And again, we're playing against a team that is playing for their lives. Like a lot of these kids, it's their last competitive hockey game. So, and maybe for some of us too, like we don't know. We're not locked into the tournament this year like we were in years past. So 2 really hard-fought games, but I mean, it has to start with the first. You can't get to the second without winning that first one.
Well, Noah, thank you so much for joining us. Best of the luck the rest of the way. We have to take a break here on Bobcat Breakdown, but when we come back, the desk will be talking about all things men's ice hockey as the team gets ready to head to Lake Placid. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
No, I'm not gambling. Live from the piazza, it's Quinnipiac tonight!
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. If you're just joining us, I'm Meg Buckley with my analysts Ava Heaton and Seb Lobes. The men's ice hockey team kicked off ECAC playoffs as they hosted, then swept Brown 2-0 for the weekend. Matej Marinov started for the Bobcats in both games, tallying a total of 54 saves and only 1 goal against. Coming off the successful run, can the team ride their goaltending and defense to the Whiteluck Cup? Ava, as the men's ice hockey beat reporter, let's start with you.
I have to say yes. I mean, they're going to have to if they're getting past Cornell, period. I think you got to look at the players they have. Elliot Gronwald, I was really impressed with him because he played with Aaron Bollinger all season and he was a first year, playing with Bollinger all season, and for his D partner to go out with an injury right at the end of the season, I think he adjusted very well, and he's 4th in the ECAC in block shots with 67, and he just won Defender of the Week. I think he's going to be a key piece defensively, and also, you got to keep in mind, Ricketts just named a Defensive Forward of the Year finalist. You have that penalty killing, 890 penalty killing percentage, which puts them at 1st in the ECAC and 3rd in the nation behind just Holy Cross and Boston College. And then, of course, like we said, Matej Marinov was just unreal last weekend. And it's a small sample size because it was his first time playing in the playoffs, but he excelled and he really rose to the challenge. So he has a lot to prove still, but he seems like he's extremely motivated. So I definitely think that they can ride this and go all the way to the Whitelaw Cup.
I was really interested to hear how you answered that one, because for me this question was kind of just weirded awkwardly, and I took it as, can they rely on the goaltending and defense? And I said no, because if the defense doesn't show up, the team is in trouble. And what's good for the team is that they score goals. So they're in good shape in that aspect. There was 3 times that you were scared because they didn't score goals. That was a game against Harvard where they got shut out 3-0. That was a game, the first game in Maine, where they lost 2-1. And then there was one other time where they lost 2-1 as well. First game of CT Ice against UConn. Those were the only instances where they don't score goals and plaster youth goals. So can they ride the goaltending and defense? Yes, because they know that the offense is going to show up. In the past 10 games, they have 44 goals scored, 14 against. That's a plus 30 goal differential. That's nearly impossible to have, and so that's just absolutely incredible. Very simple saying, though, defense leads to offense. So it's going to be interesting, but if the defense shows up and the goaltending shows up, they're in good shape.
You mentioned that they have no problem scoring, but you have to remember who they're facing in the semifinals. They're facing playoff Ian Shane with Cornell. He allowed 1 goal last weekend, just like Marinov. I don't think they're going to be able to rely on their offense. Their defense and goaltending is going to need, at least, obviously if they beat Cornell, we don't know who they would be playing, but that's this is the key part of it, is their defense, their penalty killing, and it is their goaltending. And I think that to say that their offense is just going to score, you can't rely on that, especially not with Ian Shane in net.
Now, despite being number 1 in the ECAC, there will be plenty of powerful opponents such as Cornell, Clarkson, and Dartmouth, all of whom are in the top 20 of the pairwise rankings. Who do you guys think is the biggest threat to Quinnipiac and Lake Placid? Seb, what do you think?
The answer is somewhat simple. It's Clarkson. All right, Clarkson with a 20-30, 11-3 record on the season and 15-6-1 in the conference. They have been very, very good this year. They've beaten Quinnipiac twice this season already, both times in overtime. Once here in Hamden, 3-2, and once in their own barn, 4-3. They beat Cornell once, and they tied them, which Cornell went to win that shootout game. And they also swept the season series with Dartmouth. Why did I give those points? Because those are the 3 other teams that are going to Lake Placid aside from Clarkson. So having that sample size of playing those 3 other teams, you can see why they are a serious threat. They're also limiting teams to a .139 power play conversion rate. All right, Quinnipiac has been slightly inconsistent with the power play. Sometimes if the power play doesn't show up, it's a bad day in the office for the team. When the power play shows up, they can ride that all the way to the end. But in the 2 games that they played against Clarkson, Clarkson shut them down to 0-2 in the first game, and in the second game, they limited Quinnipiac's power play to 1-4.
I'm going to keep it quite short here, Seb. You're wrong. You're just wrong. It's Cornell. I mean, Ian Shane in the playoffs has proven to be a different animal. Like I said, last weekend against Colgate, he only allowed 1 goal through the 2 games with 42 saves. And one thing that to keep noted about Cornell, this is head coach Mike Schaefer's final season. This team is not going to go down easy. They want to make that tournament for him. And you know what? A week ago, if you asked me this question, maybe I would have said Clarkson. But they had a close series against Harvard. To me, that just shows that they're a beatable team. And I would be way more worried going a one game, one and done a game against Cornell over Clarkson. Like you said, all the games against Clarkson this season for Quinnipiac were close. Could have gone either way. That's a lucky bounce in either direction. I just think Ian Shane is too good, and realistically, this team is going to struggle to score on him, and it's going to be a goalie duel. And like I said, I maybe I would have said Clarkson if you asked me this at the end of the regular season, but not anymore.
The one thing that I will say for Cornell is that they do have Mike Schaefer at the helm, and he's not going to let his team go down without a fight. But when it comes to Clarkson, they have the goaltending, which is better than the goaltending that Cornell got during the season. Ethan Langenberger had a 2.18 goals against average and finished with a .912 save percentage. And their second goalie, Marcus Brandman, posted a .912 save percentage.
That's the regular season, though.
4
We're talking about playoffs. We're talking about playoffs, and Ian Shane is the best.
I'm not going to cut you guys off. I'm going to agree with Ava. I think it's going to be Cornell. But it's now time for our final break of the night. But when we come back, it will be time for us to give our final roars. Stay with us. Bobcat Breakdown will be right back.
Have you ever helped a fellow veteran
Of course.
Yes.
Have you ever asked for help yourself?
It's always tough, right? I always feel like I can solve my own problems, but eventually, you just can't deal with it on your own.
And you start to question, maybe people would be better off without me. When you realize that you're not alone, once you take that first step, there's so much support.
Guys! We had to make a commercial for #that right now. What do we do?
How long do we have? We've only had 2 months to do this.
We could explain that it's a pop culture news show that covers everything from movies, music, and video games.
Yeah, and we can also talk about how there's pre-recorded segments that vary from reviews to in-depth discussions.
We should also mention that it broadcasts live every Monday at 7 p.m. on q30tv.com/watch.
I think that covers everything. Did you guys get that down?
Oh, right. Look at you taking the stairs. Who are you? We're your lungs.
We are proud of you for quitting smoking, but you still may be at risk for lung cancer.
A routine cancer scan can detect it early when it's more curable. Good to know. Well, I gotta go somewhere.
So do we.
So do we.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. It is now time for our final roars. I'll start us off. The fact of the matter is, in life, there will always be people who try to put you down for any work you do. Before I came to Quinnipiac, I was a cheerleader through and through. I spent countless hours, weeks, and years on the mat, and for the 15 years I did cheer, I'm eternally grateful for all the skills and lessons it taught me to get me where I am today. However, people disagreed with me on just that cheer was not a sport, required no effort at all, and it was nonsense trying to reason otherwise. But it was in those moments I learned a crucial message. People will always have things to say, but it is up to you to choose how to take those comments moving forward. A similar vein runs in student media. The choices you make are pivotal to your growth as a creator, and despite the negative comments people may make, they will only have the power if you let them. Being a part of Q30 as a first year, there were and still are so many things to learn, which may be daunting with the idea of criticisms making things seem all the more discouraging. But now that I've been a beat reporter and am currently covering acrobatics and tumbling, a sport so similar to my own, I feel confident when I say that the fear of criticism and judgment shouldn't stop anyone from trying new things or the ones you have already grown to love. The drive and motivation you have can propel you to do amazing things, regardless of what anyone says. The best person to help you grow is yourself, and through these experiences, you can become the best version of you. There's no one else you should choose to be.
Proving yourself isn't an easy task. It takes dedication and patience to show that you are the best you can be. This is a sentiment that Quinnipiac men's ice hockey goaltender Matej Marinov knows well. Marinov started his Bobcat career as a backup to Vinny Duplessis with very good stats, but this season, he's been even better, and it's clear that this team puts a lot of trust in him. He's played more games this year, and his stats have greatly improved, as he currently sits with a .932 save percentage and a .169 goals against average, both first in the ECAC. He was a key part in the Bobcats' journey to their 5th consecutive Cleary Cup, and last weekend, Marinov shined as he played in his first playoff games. He was undoubtedly the star of the weekend, recording 54 saves on 55 shots across the team's 2 quarterfinal wins over Brown. Now, Marinov and the Bobcats are getting ready to head to Lake Placid for the ECAC semifinals against Cornell, a game they have not won since 2022. But regardless of the outcome, Marinov has earned his role on this team and come a long way, showing that with some time, a good mindset, and dedication, you can excel and get to where you want to be.
Lake Placid, New York. From snow-capped mountains to the Miracle on Ice, it's a place the Quinnipiac Bobcats are headed back to for a 4th straight year. Past heartbreaks no longer define them. This year, everything changes. The time is now. A team that started with inexperience and inconsistency now stands strong, battle-tested, and ready. First years like Elliot Gronwald, Tyler Borgula, Aaron Schwartz, Chris Pelosi, and more have found their place contributing night in and night out. There's no question they have the talent to bring the Whitelaw Cup home to Hamden. And they aren't alone. Newcomer junior forward Jeremy Wilmer has been phenomenal, leading the team and ranking 2nd in the ECAC with 39 points. The offense is clicking, the defense is dialed, and between the pipes, the Bobcats are riding the hot hand with goaltender Matej Marinov. He's been a brick wall, posting a 1.69 goals against average, a .932 save percentage, and 3 shutouts in 815 minutes of play. With upperclassmen like Travis Treloar providing leadership and a team catching fire at the right time, the Bobcats have everything they need. The doubts and inconsistencies are in the past. This is the time. So to the Quinnipiac men's ice hockey team, Herb Brooks Arena is awaiting. Keep the train rolling and go write your own miracle on ice.
That's all the time we have for Bobcat Breakdown this week. Thank you to all the producers and everyone working hard behind the scenes to make shows like this possible. Stay up to date on everything Quinnipiac sports and follow at Q30 Sports on X and Instagram and on Q30TV.com. For Seb Lobes and Ava Heaton, I'm Meg Buckley. Have a great Bobcats.